Hello everyone. Today we are going to disassemble the top end out of this Sportster 2017. We're gonna go from this gasket all the way to the top, and we're gonna do some, gaskets replacement, etc. For the first thing we're gonna do today is we're gonna go and we're gonna take the fuses off. And you may be asking, well, if we are not doing an electrical job, why do we need to take the fuses out? Well, I will let you know that later in the video. So you want to get your cover out, grab it from the side, and just snap it out. Oops. And you can see I have a bunch of different things here. This is where your fuses are. So you take that out like this. Let me get this out. And then there is two tabs at the bottom, right there. Take your tabs off and slide it out. And there it is. Those are your fuses. So you take your fuses off, all of them. And then what I usually do is I leave them inside of the box that is covered in the fuses. So just put them there. You can leave it back right here in the cover. And now we're gonna go to the next step. Okay, so the next step is to take the seat off. As you can see, I have a custom seat. So mine just have like a little knob here that you can roll. Depending on your year and depending on if you have a custom seat or not, your knob may be different, but basically what we're gonna do is we're gonna take it off. So I'm gonna do that off camera and then we'll go to the next step. Now then the seat is off, now we're gonna go to the part that I most dislike about the whole process. So right here, this right here, okay, that is where your fuel comes out of your tank and go inside of your injectors. This part here, this metal part here, goes up. So what you want to do is you want to got your fingers there, pull this metal part up, and then with your other hand get the plastic hose and pull it down. I usually, what I do with this is I want to put a rag at the bottom because you're going to lose some gas. So we're gonna put some rag in the bottom, right there. And then, like I said, you need to pull this metal part to the top and at the same time put the plastic part to the bottom. So let's go and do that. There we go. Okay, so now as you can see, we have this part already out of the way. And this part, make sure that you are not leaking any gas. Okay, make sure that the metal part went all the way down after you take the hose off. All right, and once it's done, then we go to a different thing. So in my case it's different because I'm gonna have to do this in a different way, but for everybody else's, right here, right there, you're gonna see there is a torque screw right there. Okay, you're gonna take that torque screw off, and it's a plastic part here that you need to pull this way. Once that is done, these yellow cables there, those are the cables that goes to a connector behind it, which is the connector for the fuel pump. So you have to take that fuel pump connector, take it off of there, and take the cable out of this way and taking it off. It's under here, so you want it to go that way and take it in off this way so it's free. In my case, I'm going to do it differently because I have LED lights on the tank. So instead of taking the whole tank off, I'm only just going to lift it. I will show that later. So like I said, this is where the screw is. It has a torque. Take that screw off, take the plastic part off, and release it. Okay, once that is done, then you can go and we can actually go and take the tank off. To take the tank off, we are going to need a 1/4 Allen from here and a 1/2 inch ratchet from here. Same thing in the front. Right there you have your 1/4, and in the other side will be a 1/2. So you want to put a 1/4 wrench here, put a 1/4 socket here, a 1/2 in the other side. Show you again. One here, one in the other side, and then you can undo them, and when both of those are off, then you can take the tank off. I don't know if I want to record this in camera because the process is really long, and I really don't want to just have this video lasted like 6.5 hours. So we'll probably come back when the tank is off. Okay, now that we have the tank off, we're going to remove the spark plugs. One really important thing that I would like to mention: when you remove the spark plugs, if you have, especially if you have the performance cable, the Screaming Eagle cable, as I do, these cables don't have any copper inside of them. These are like kind of like fiber. So what I will recommend is not to get it from here and take it off. Ask me how I know. You want to get them from the bottom. Okay, wiggle it a little bit, right there, and there you go, right there. Be really careful not to get it from that way, especially if you have Screaming Eagles, because you're going to end up with this in the spark plug and this in your hand. So we're going to remove that. We're going to be using a 5/8, okay, for this spark plug. So I'm going to take both of them off and I'll be back. Got your spark plugs out? All right, let's go to the next one. Now is when most of the fun starts. So you're going to have 2 screws, one right here, 2 bolts, whatever you want to call it, one right here and one right there. Those bolts here, you're going to have to loosen them a little bit. Do not take them off, just loosen them a little bit. We're going to use a 1/2 inch wrench for that, okay? And all you want to do is loosen them a little bit. That's your throttle body. We're going to have to remove part of the whole throttle body to take this cylinder off. So all you need to do is remove those 2 at the moment. We're going to just remove them, and then we'll keep going. This next step will depend a lot in what kind of air cleaner you have. As you can see, I have an aftermarket air cleaner, so this is a different process for me than it will be for you if you have the original one that has just 2 screws here to take the cover, and then you can get the filter. In my case, I do have an aftermarket one. So check your manual or do a quick search on the internet, and what we want to do is we want to remove the whole thing off. So since you are going to have a different one than mine, mostly, just like I said, do some internet search, get your manual, and you need to remove all of this. And when all of this is done, then we'll come back for the next one. All right, now that I have all my air cleaner out and I have my backing plate out, then we are going to go and we are going to try to get this screw right there. It's going to be really difficult to see, but you can see it right there in the middle. You're going to want to get that screw out of the way, and this one, instead of the other ones then I used to tell you to loosen them, this one you're going to have to remove it all. You cannot just lose it. So in my case, I recommend to do both sides, both heads. This is the other one, so you can actually freely move the backing plate, the throttle body. So let's take those 2. All right, again, this is where they are. They are a little bit difficult to reach, but anyway, grab both of them, and instead of just losing them like we did with the others, just remove them, take them all off. Okay, we get those screws off, and now we're gonna go to the part that I most dislike of all, and that is removing your exhaust. As you can see, my exhaust again is an aftermarket exhaust, so yours is gonna be different. So in this case, you really have to check your manual, and or again, going to the internet and find a way for your specific exhaust. What I need to tell you is, if you have O2 sensors, as I do, okay, you're gonna have your O2 sensors here and another one right here in the back. Make sure that you disconnect your O2 sensors first before you take the exhaust off. Again, ask me how I know. One time I was able to get the exhaust off, and I'm like, it's not coming off, and the O2 sensors were tied still to the plug. So, pro tip here, make sure that you get your O2 sensors off first, and when you get that done, then take your exhaust. Most of the times, it's kind of like you're gonna have some kind of screws in the back that hold it, and then you have the one at the heads, and that's gonna be most of it, unless you have a different one. But again, just check the internet, and I guess I'll see you in an hour and a half when I'm done taking my exhaust off. Let's talk in a moment. Did you guys have fun taking the exhaust off? I definitely didn't. I hate doing that. All right, so now we're gonna start disassembling this cylinder right here. So we're gonna take these two screws out of there. Those, we're gonna be using an Allen. It's gonna be a 3/16. There is another two screws in the other side. So in my case, I wanna do it by the book. So I'm gonna take first this one, then the opposite one in the other side, then this one, then the opposite one in the other side. I'm gonna loose them a little bit and go in a cross pattern, and I'll come back when I have it sorted out. All right, now that I get those screws off, we're gonna go to what can be a little bit of a complicated thing. So as you can see, when I'm removing this part, it may be hard for you to move it off. If it is, just get a little mallet, like a rubber mallet, kick it right here in the side, and that will loosen it enough. All right, so remember I tell you guys to make sure that you take your fuses off before you start this. There is a reason why, and it's because there is a harness here that have all the cables, and that is pretty much well protected. But if we come here and look at the other side, you're gonna see that there is a bunch of cables right there. It's another harness, and they are not too protected. So when you're trying to take this off, tolerances are really small. So it's kind of like a complicated thing to do. So let me see if I can get the camera in a good position. We'll see if I can do that, and I'll show you. Maybe not. I don't have a good spot to put the camera, but anyway, let's try it in the other way then. So what you want to do right now is you want to get a plastic tool. Okay, don't get a metal tool, get a plastic tool, and you want to get this cover and put it back. Now before we do that, and this is a really important part, you're gonna see right here that there is a little cable there. If you get that cable, okay, and you just put it back and take it off, you're gonna see that you have a little connector there. That's your temperature sensor connector, and this goes inside of the head. So you want to make sure that you pull it like this, and you may want to make sure that you disconnect it. So pull the tab in the back, and these things are really, really tight. Let's see if I can actually take it off. There we go. All right, so you're gonna see that it has the tab right there. So pull that tab and take it off. All right, and now you're gonna see though that it has right here, it has a little plug. Okay, it's like a little hook, then the cable is plugged to. So you want to remove that too. Be really careful, don't mess with it too much. If possible. There you go. Right there. See the little clip? All right, and now this is off and this is free. So as you can see, this goes right there, right in top of your head. This, you gotta be really, really, really careful not to nick it, because if you nick it, if you break it and you have to replace it, you're gonna need a specialty tool. I mean, it's a pain in the ass. I had to do it once, and I promise you it's no fun. So what we wanna do is we want to move that cable and slide it all the way. We're gonna put it back in the other side, which is where we are gonna be moving the heads. So let me put the phone down so I can do this properly. This is always really fun to do, especially with all the cables in the other side. It's a really fun activity to do. But I promise you the alternative is not good. All right, let's see if we can get this sorted out. All right, I'm almost there. Okay. All right, now that we have the cable all the way in the other side, is when the thing becomes a little bit of a problem. So again, I don't have the right tripod to do this, so I'm gonna try to do it the best I can. So you wanna get this up, and you see it's gonna be some screws out there at the bottom that you can see now, hence the plastic prior. And because there is cables here and cables in the back, you gotta make sure that they don't, they are not in the way. So this is what we're gonna do. I'll show you in a moment. You're gonna put your tool down here, and you're gonna try to press it to the other side. And meanwhile, you're gonna try to make it go in top of the screw. See, there is a screw right there. There is another one. So keep making pressure, and when they are in top of the screw, that is when you want to make sure in the other side all your cables are not in the way, and you can go and take it out. So basically wiggle it as much as you can and take it out in the other side, and I'll be back when that is done. Okay, now that we have that covered off, here's what we need to do. Before we do anything in these screws, we need to make sure that the push rods are not actually pushing the valves down. So what we want to do is we're going to put fifth. So first of all, you want to raise your bike, okay, make sure that the rear tire spins freely. And once you do that, just put fifth, put the bike in gear, put it in fifth gear. And after it's in fifth gear, what you're going to do, and you may need somebody to help you with this one, is you see the two push rods here? So you're supposed to be able to move them with your finger. See, this one doesn't move, and this one does move. So you want to make sure that you have it in top dead center, and some people will tell you, put a straw in the hole in the spark plug and try there. There is an easiest way than that. So what you do is that you get your wheel, and you move it in the way that the bike is supposed to be moving if you are moving forward, okay? And then you're gonna see this coming up and down. What you need to make sure is like it's a moment that both of them needs to be at the bottom. And the way to know if you do that right is just move it a little bit, see it moving. When you see the both of them at the bottom, try to move the push rods. If you can move the push rods, the two of them, okay, you are in top dead center. If one of the push rods you cannot move it like this freely, you're not there yet. So I'm gonna do the process, and when we have that done, I'll show you. Okay, I'm back. I already took the cover off, and now we're gonna take this part right here all the way off. So there is 3 different sets of screws or bolts here, and this is how you're supposed to take them. First, we're gonna take these 2 right here and right here. Once those 2 are off, then we're gonna go to the other side. And then you're gonna see that there is 3 screws, one right there, as you can see, is right here, okay, there you go. Another one is right there, and the last one is all the way right there. So we're gonna take those 3 screws off. It don't matter how you take them off. You can take them one side, the other, the center, whatever you wanna do. And then there is 4 more screws. There is these 2 here, 1 here, 2 here, and you have another 2, 1 there and 1 there in the other side. This is the ones that are important how you do them. So the manual will tell you that you have to do it like in a cross pattern, and you start in this way. Is 1, then the other one in the other side, 2, then 3, and then that one at the end there, 4. So you want to lose them a little bit, like a quarter of an inch. So you go a quarter of a turn, I mean. This one, the opposite in the other side. This one, the opposite at the other side. Take those one off, do them like a quarter of a turn, little by little, and when you take them all off, then we're gonna see how we take this thing out. I'll be back. I forgot to mention the Allens in the other side are 3/16. The other 3 screws then go in the sides and the one here, those are 7/16, and the other 4 big screws right here, they are half. Okay, now that we have all the screws off, we are gonna take this part out of the way. One thing that I recommend, you can just lift it and put it in the other side, take it to the other side, but I'm not that kind of person. So what I will recommend for you to do is to move it a little bit and to grab the push rods and take them out. So be really careful when you take the push rods for one reason. This is the exhaust one. The other one is the intake. The exhaust is always longer than the intake. In case you mess them up and you twist them, or you put them in different place, just make sure that you remember that the longer one is the one that is in the exhaust. The shorter one goes into the intake. So basically we'll take these 2. Okay, we have one. Now we see if we can fish the other one. This is not always easy. There we go. And we can fish probably the other push rod out, and there you go. There's the intake. And now that we got those all the way, then we can just go ahead, lift it up. Be careful with the cable, with its heat temperature, and there you go. It's out, and we have our first gasket, which was my problematic gasket, which I'm about to replace it in a second. So yeah, let me just go and clean a little bit, and then we'll go to the next steps.